What's up, y'all? This is T from Mojo Break Gaming. Today we're going to be talking about the new BT11 Bagramon. The game plan is to abuse your on deletion save mechanic, tucking in your Bagra army trait Digimon underneath your purple Tamers to cut the play cost in half of your level 6 megas in the late game. This deck also is very good at interrupting cards in your opponent's hand, as well as gaining information and stealing memory on your opponent's turn. Starting off with the level 2s, we have 4 copies of BT3 Demi-Meramon. This is an on deletion, draw 1, trash 1. If you've played purple before, you know this card. It's simple and perfect at what it does, and it's great for drawing cards and recycling the ones we don't need. Also, with the game plan of the save mechanic, we are pretty much rookie rushing / champion rushing, so just on deletion drawing 1 card is just going to be really helpful. Moving on to the level 3s, we have 4 copies of BT10 Soundbirdmon. Note that this level 3 does not have a Bagra army trait, but it also has a when attacking by placing 1 purple Digimon card from your hand underneath one of your Tamers, you can draw 1 card. So that's turboing up into your megas later. It also has an on deletion save, so by tucking in 1 purple Digimon card underneath one of your Tamers and then having an on deletion save, it also has a really cool inherent effect. Once per turn, when an effect trashes this digivolution card, gain 1 memory. So we're going to be trashing our own digivolution cards to gain memory. Also, to note that this is a really good counter to blue, because blue always usually strips sources off of your Digimon to gain their advantage, but at the same time, if they do that, they're going to lose a memory. Next up, we have 4 copies of the new BT11 Chikurimon. On play, by deleting this Digimon, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, and you can add 1 card with Bagra Army and its traits among them to your hand. You can place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck. This is really good for finding maybe your top end pieces, maybe your level 6 megas, and with the same inheritable of opponent's turn, when this Digivolution card is trashed, gain a memory. Moving on, we have 4 copies of Chuchumon from BT10. It is a 4 play cost, but it's a really good on play effect. You can reveal the top 4 of your deck, and you can add a Digimon card with Bagra Army and its traits and 1 U Anamano among them to your hand, and place the rest at the bottom. On deletion save mechanic of tucking underneath one of our Tamers when it dies. Also, finding U Anamano is literally the game plan of this deck. You have to find that Tamer as soon as possible. Moving on to the level 4s, we have 4 copies of Damimon. It is a 5 play cost, on play or when digivolving. If you don't have a U Anamano in play, you could play one from your hand without paying the cost. On deletion, effect save underneath one of your Tamers. This is the card you want to see in your opening hand of any game, and you want to see your U Anamano Tamer, because you would hard play this after digivolving into your rookie, hoping you would have a rookie of course. But I feel slapping Damimon down as soon as possible, and you have the Tamer in hand as well, is worth paying 5 memory to your opponent to just get this onto the field. It also has an on deletion effect save, so you're going to swing the next turn regardless. Next up, we have 3 copies of Troopmon from BT10. It is a 5 play cost, opponent's turn, once per turn. When an opponent plays a Digimon or Tamer, by trashing one of this Digimon's Digivolution cards, gain 1 memory. This card is really good for just like bottlenecking your opponent of the amount of resources they should be playing on the field, making their cards really cost heavy from their hand. And then we play 4 copies of Mad Leomon from BT10. This is an opponent's turn, once per turn. When an effect adds cards to your opponent's hand by trashing one of this Digimon's Digivolution cards, your opponent trashes cards in their hand equal to the number of cards added to their hand by an effect. Thinking about it this way, there's so many times where your opponent is just digging for cards in their deck, and it also has an X cross -2. It's 1 Digimon card with Bagra Army and its traits, so you can hard play this for 5 and tuck in a Bagra Army trait underneath the sources to make this actually a 3 cost, because it's minusing 2 off of the play cost. Moving on, we have 4 copies of Mad Leomon Armed Mode. This is a 6 play cost, opponent's turn. When an effect adds cards to your opponent's hand by trashing one of this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you can draw 2 cards, so gaining a memory and drawing 2 cards. It has an X cross -2, where you can place a Mad Leomon plus another card with Bagra Army and its traits to reduce the play cost. So by tucking 2 sources in here, this would reduce it by 4. So this Mad Leomon Armed Mode can actually be a 2-drop, which is actually insane. And then we run 3 copies of Tuwarmon. It can digivolve for a cost of 1 on top of your Daemon, which is really cool. It also has Decoy Bagra Army. When one of your other Digimon with Bagra Army and its traits would be deleted by an opponent's effect. You may delete this Digimon to prevent that deletion. Also has a really unique effect that I did not expect. Your U Anamano can't be deleted. Like Blackboard Greymon that has a lot of Tamer hate, and option cards like Hades Force cannot delete your U Anamano if this card is in play. It also has an on deletion. You may play one Demimon from your trash suspended without paying its memory cost. Ever gets deleted, right? So it's like a really good protection against your Tamers. Also can just be used as bait. We don't run any level 5s in this deck. We're just going to skip right on ahead to our level 6s, starting off with the new BT11 Bagramon. This is the boss Digimon of the deck. It has a very powerful on-player when digivolving effect. If our opponent has one or fewer Digimon in play, we can look at our opponent's hand. This is really good for gaining information from your opponent. Depending on how well you know the matchup, you're going to know what to trash in your opponent's hand, whether it's a hybrid for game, blitz for game, any type of option removal card, something to just absolutely ruin your opponent's day. If your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, place one of your opponent's Digimon under one of your opponent's other Digimon as a bottom digivolution and trashing the rest of the sources. It has an all turns effect once per turn when an opponent's Digimon digivolves, or when an effect adds cards to an opponent's Digimon's digivolution cards by trashing one card in this Digimon's digivolution cards. Trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. Next up, we run 2 copies of my favorite Demon Lord, Lilithmon. She has a powerful on-play effect where you can trash the top 4 cards of your deck. Then you can add up to 2 cards with Bagra Army and their traits from your trash to your hand. And you can place up to 2 Digimon cards with Bagra Army and their traits from your trash under one of your Tamers. So a really good way of turboing up resources. Really good for stacking resources underneath one of your Tamers. Also, opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon moves up from the breeding area by trashing one card in this Digimon's digivolution cards, that Digimon gains when attacking lose 3 memory. So Lilithmon, even smacking this down for 11 play cost, really just pays for herself. It really puts her opponent in a really weird position because it gains that when attacking effect on that particular Digimon if they choose to swing with it. Really love this Lilithmon. She's a great addition to the deck. We play 1 copy of Blastmon from BT10, a really good card just to go for game. It has a rush effect, an on-play effect. If this Digimon has 3 digivolution cards, it gains blitz. So we have a way of tucking in 3 sources to this Digimon to give it rush and blitz for game. If we have lethal on board, we're just going to go in with Blastmon for game. Opponent's turn, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon attacks by trashing one of this Digimon's digivolution cards, you can delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. That's going to gain you a memory with those inheritables, and you pop one of your opponent's Digimon. Next up, we have 1 copy of Tactimon. It is a play cost of 13. It has a powerful effect of on play. You can play 2 level 4 or lower Digimon cards with Bagra Army in their traits. So this is a way for this deck to have blockers. Also, they do get their on-play effects, so they can be really good for searchability. An opponent's turn, when an effect would trash one of your other Digimon's digivolution cards, you may trash this Digimon's digivolution cards instead. Tactimon pretty much plays that role of, I have Digimon on the field that have effects for themselves, but I'm just going to take over them and I'm going to trash my own sources to utilize their effects. Constantly playing around this effect of just trashing your inheritables and just gaining memory. Very, very simple, very solid. And we're running this tech card, 1 Splash of Millenniumons. It has a when digivolving, return one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of their deck and trash the digivolution cards. And also has an on deletion as long as it had a digivolution card. If this card dies, it can just play itself again. The tech choice in playing Millenniumon, I feel that in BT11, X-Cross is going to be a very popular style of deck. I feel that Death Xmon is going to cause our opponent's Digimon to be deleted. It's going to just speed up the process of an X-Cross player. If you're both going for the same kind of gameplay of you wanting your Digimon to be deleted so you can tuck them underneath your Tamers, and then just not letting them have that on deletion effect. So I feel this is a really good tech choice, Millenniumon. Also, it's just a really good way of just putting away a very strong Digimon, just bottom decking it, not worrying about it. Next up, moving on to our Tamers, we have 4 copies of Yu Amano. This is an all turns, once per turn. When a purple card is placed under this Tamer, you can draw 1 card. So you're constantly going to be drawing cards every single turn as long as you can tuck a source underneath this Tamer. It is a 3 play cost, and it says your turn, once per turn, when you would play a level 4 or higher Digimon card with Bagra Army in its traits by placing up to 3 purple Digimon cards from under your Tamers in the play Digimons and Digivolution cards, you can reduce the play cost of that Digimon by 2 for each card placed. So Bagramon, Lilithmon, Blastmon, Tactimon, we're just going to be playing these big bodies, tucking in the sources from our Tamers underneath that Digimon's Digivolution cards to reduce the play cost. Also note that this Yu Amano has Bagra Army in its traits, so you actually can pick it up off of one of your searchers if you would like to. Next up, we run 2 copies of Matt Ishida. This is a simple 2 to 3 memory setter, and on play, return one of your purple Digimon or purple option cards from your trash to your hand. So really good for just recycling option cards or Digimon cards. Matt Ishida is just great for grabbing you pieces that were in the trash. Next up, we run 4 copies of Buzzing Fist. This is a 2-drop. Its main reveal top 3 cards of your deck, and you can add 1 card with Bagra Army and its traits among them to your hand. So that's pretty much all of our deck with Bagra Army in the traits, so this card is rarely going to whiff. Then you place 1 Digimon card with Bagra Army and its traits from your trash under one of your Tamers. So this is really good for a search ability for a 2 cost and being able to tuck a source underneath one of your Tamers. And also to note that it has a very powerful security effect. You may play 1 Yu Amano from your hand or trash without paying the cost. Then you can add this to your hand. 4 copies of Buzzing Fist is absolutely essential. Next up, we run 1 copy of this removal card called Astral Snatcher. This is main. You can place up to 3 Digimon cards with Bagra Army and their traits from your trash at the bottom of one of your Digimon's Digivolution cards. Then, if you have a Digimon or Tamer with Bagra Army in its trait being your Yu Amano or any of your Digimon, place one of your opponent's Digimon under one of your opponent's other Digimon as a bottom Digivolution card. So just another great form of removal that just cannot be countered at the moment. Really powerful stuff, and it's a 7 cost. So just a 1 of is really good because you don't want to brick with this in your hand. And to round up the deck, we just have 1 copy of Calling from Darkness. This is delete one of your Digimon. You can return up to 2 purple Digimon cards from your trash to your hand. It's limited, so we only can play 1 copy in the deck. So that's going to be it for the deck profile for my BT11 Bagramon Army deck. Let us know in the comment section below if you're looking forward to playing Bagramon. All feedback is welcome. This is T from Mojo Break Gaming signing out. We'll see you in the next video. Peace out, y'all.